All right, so in this problem, this is your theoretical yield, which you found already. And I'm not writing the entire problem again, but that's what your theoretical yield is. Now, this is what happens. This is how much you get if everything goes perfectly well. But nothing ever goes perfectly well, especially in lab. You can mess stuff up. You can spill stuff. You have sausage fingers. It's a disaster. So you rarely get this amount of stuff. And so what is a common kind of question is to look at what is called percent yield. Your percent yield is what you actually get divided by what you're supposed to get. Multiply the whole thing by 100. Another way of saying it, if you want the definitions, it would be your actual yield divided by your theoretical yield. If you're doing a word problem or a problem like all the ones you've done on paper, then this number, the what you should get, that has to be given to you. Where? Get times 100 times 100. You're 100. So the actual yield has to be given to you in the problem. It'll be a third number. And then you find your theoretical yield, and then you divide the two, multiply by 100. So it's like any other percent you've ever done in your entire life. It's not mathematically challenging, especially considering you probably have done percents since 6th grade. But don't get confused by the random third number that's given to you. So, for example, in this particular problem, if I said, what if I actually made, let's say, I don't know, 20 grams of H2O. Could you calculate your percent yield from that? Sure you could. You just take your 20 grams, what you actually made, and divide it by what I was supposed to make, which is what? Right, 22.05 in a perfect world situation, which almost never happens. Then multiply it by 100, and that is how you find your percent yield. But notice, I had to give this 20 grams to you. Was this 90.7, I think? What? That's not grams, it's percent. Oh my gosh, oh no, abort. So 90.7%. Okay, so you made 90.7% of what you're supposed to make. Every reaction is different. Some reactions, you would expect your expected yield or what you actually would make is like sometimes it's only like 75% because there's different constraints in the reaction. Thermodynamically, you don't really care, but some reactions don't always go to 100% completion. So that limits how much stuff you can make too. So that's not really part of this though. It's just if you get a third number, that's what you actually made. You take your actual and divide by your theoretical to find your percent yield. Carolyn. You're given, well, obviously you're given this one and this one from the problem, and then this one is also given to you, or I just gave it to you. And you find your theoretical yield with the regular math we did last night or yesterday. Yep. 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 Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, actually made, or you really produced, or you tried the lab and you made this, or your actual yield.